Hello everyone, welcome back to me, Manga Boy Red Manga. I got this manga I read it during my honeymoon break. I brought these on the aeroplane, and it was a good read on the aeroplane. I read a few of these on the beach, but didn't read that much. You know, a little busy doing some drinking, doing some eating, and then last of all, the true trifecta of any vacation, doing some food poisoning. Gotta keep the trifecta strong. Okay, so that's good life. So let's go through all these. So this is Screwed Up, but I was reincarnated girl in another world. This guy gets reincarnated as a girl who was like abused and used and everything like that, and out for dead. And once she is / he is kind of brought to resistance against death, they learn this thing called the inventory skill and is able to do put things in their inventory, and also they're able to use this thing as long as they have like the blueprint of things. They can craft things using something called creation magic. They also have the ability to pull up the status thing. They also find out that their inventory skill, which is very useful, can be used to like skin deer, for example, Super Aries as an example. So like, look, she could skin it, which is what she used to do, or she could say, oh, I want to put the meat in the inventory, and then it only puts the meat. It auto skins the food for her, which is really useful. And then it could go, oh, I want the pelt, and then it'll do the pelt. So then that's how she gets everything all separated very easily, cleanly, perfectly. But then he also learns that woman orgasms feel really good and learns how to craft different kinds of vibrators and spends days doing that, and then gets a status effect called lustfulness. And that was pretty funny. Pretty good read. I definitely just thought it was going to be pervert manga. The whole time there's like no real conflict. Besides that one guy who was like a prostitute owner, used her as a prostitute, and yeah, that was pretty much the main conflict. She hasn't approached her or anything yet. She got this nice big old wolfie, which is kind of neat looking, and the wolfie's little son or child, I don't know if it's a son. I just said son, but yeah. So next time, I kind of hope to see that we get more of a plot. She's some sort of celestial being, and I don't understand why or how, but I'm hoping that gets kind of resolved at some point. But so far, I like it. It's not amazing, for sure, but it is interesting. Another one that is interesting, but not really amazing, is Catch These Hands. This girl right here, the toughest girl in all of the high school, but now she's graduated. This girl, her number one rival in all the high school, but she's graduated. And all of her friends are having kids, getting married, and all of her friends are saying, hi, I have a job. And she's like, hi, I also have a job. And so she's like, man, I really missed that girl who was my rival because I had a huge crush on her. And so, of course, they come to make an agreement where if this girl loses one last fight against her, then of course she will have to date her. So that's what happens. So now she's dating her, and we're just living through their life. And, you know, she wants to give up being a thug, but she's like, listen, I love you as a thug. And so that is pretty much the main story here. And so it's pretty interesting. I do enjoy it. It is not, again, super good or anything like that, in my opinion, but it is interesting. There's more of a plot than the other manga I was talking about called This Is Messed Up, but I Was Reincarnated as a Girl. But Catch These Hands definitely has more of a clear end goal and direction. It does seem like the meanish girl is opening up to the happier girl. To be honest with you, I really feel like the happier girl is kind of in an abusive relationship, but she's also putting herself in it because she doesn't want to even be in it. So it's a little interesting, but she's starting to warm up to her, so that's good, I suppose. But I would really be like, if I was her friend, I'd be like, listen, get some help, call somebody. This is not the girl for you. But okay. It's happening. We also have the Iraten deities, duties. No, Only Peace Volume 2. Another series I've actually really enjoyed quite a lot. And this series, I would say, is worth reading if you haven't been. The anime for it, the animation quality looked really cool. I don't know how good it really is, but we find out that the demons have human forms. The old man gave them the human forms. They also have human intelligence. But we also find out Rin here is a beast and can destroy the strongest of the demons in the army easily, and only holds back because Rin doesn't realize that they're actually demons. But then Rin realizes, oh, you're a demon and not a human. And here I was thinking I could teach you how to fight. And she just pulls out a sword and just slices her in half. And she's like, why am I frozen? Like, what spell did you cast on me, you dirty Iraten? And, well, let's just say, sometimes the body doesn't work really well with or without paralyzation magic if it's not attached. So definitely really like this series. The main character boy here is starting to get an idea of how to get strength, or we're getting an idea of how he's going to get strength, rather. So that is cool. We also see some other subplots with the other deities, the other Iraten. Very interested to see what's going on here with this guy. He's like a genius. I don't know why he hides this information or what this Protea person is, but it does seem like Protea is really cool. They got game consoles. They got all these magics. Very interested in that. I have no idea what the demons are going to do because they are no match. So I am loving that. It makes it really cool in my opinion. But, some people get tired of that trope. My isekai life. I gained a second character class. Became the strongest sage of the world. So here we go. We see where we pick off here. I'm like so far behind. The anime's way past me. But we get our nice little wolf friend here. We're in the middle of our exam, and he finds the examiner who's supposed to be the stealth guy and make people fail, but he's like, nah, I got the examiner. Afterwards, he finds that little wolf man. The wolf man's this big scary wolf, and he learns how to talk to beasts, and he catches it. And he says, listen, you're a big crybaby wolf. And he's like, please don't kill me, I'm a big crybaby wolf. And so he tames him, and its name is Proud Wolf. And that was wicked funny. And then we also find a spirit of the forest who can travel through the trees. So he leaves slimes with her so he can talk all over the place. And he finds these weird black stones that are causing demons to appear. And he helps the town take down all these demons. Very enjoyable. I am assuming the anime is good, but the manga is really good. I can see why it got adaptations like back to back like that, because it is definitely worth reading. So if you're not checking it out somewhere, check it out, please. Banished from the hero's party, decided to live a quiet life in the countryside. A lot of text. Main thing here is this guy leaves the hero party. Rather, he gets kicked out from it by one of the other members, not the hero herself. This is the hero herself. He's supposed to be called like the guide, and like each person in the hero's party has like a role. His was the guide, but the hero has long grown the guide. She's like really strong, and so everyone's like, what do we need this weak ass loser for? So everyone who gets a role, they feel like once they live their role, they're done with, but it's like not necessarily true. They foreshadow that the hero is actually losing her way without the guide. So that is pretty cool. There is a ton of text in this manga though. So if you like to read things, you have a smorgasbord ahead of you here. Look at this buffet. Anyways, I'm interested to see what's going on with this. I feel like the members of the hero's party are like either not for the hero or they're maybe demons in disguise. He finds this girl that they met on the hero's journey, and she tries to like work with him. He's like, I'm not gonna work with you, and she's like, you don't even know how to do this, and he's like, yeah, you're right. And so what he's trying to do is run an apothecary, and he doesn't really know how to make one profitable, but he's learning. He's also really strong because the guide's abilities, like you're 20 levels higher, by default, but he's got like a lower skill cap from everyone else as a result of that, like beginner's little boost. So it's an interesting little give and take gambit there. Death Note. short stories. This is the same size as the Death Note Black editions, but it's silver. So when you line it up to the other black editions, it'll really show itself pretty obviously. These are all a bunch of different short stories, some never before published in English. Most of them have been published in English in some format, but this is probably the easier way to get them these days. I like most of these stories. I have read a few of them before. Some of them I hadn't read yet because I was waiting for this to come out. So yeah, but Death Note has a few different editions. I think the all-in-one edition, for example, has one of these stories in here. Yeah, includes a new epilogue chapter. I believe it's also included in here. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed this series. Probably my favorite one was C, which is the one on the cover here. But definitely check it out. Worth having in your collection if you guys were ever not sure. I really don't know why the front is the exact same as the back. I do think that is pretty dumb in a huge waste of potential. They could have put a lot of things on the back, maybe a different story with Ryuk or anybody, but whatever. Adventures of Dai. We continue through the Disciples of Avon, Volume 3, which is also Volume 3 here. These are Toon 1 Omnis, obviously. And I do, of course, enjoy this series quite a lot. I can't believe there's another Disciple of Avon, but this is the first one, and he is apparently Evol, and I thought that was a really neat twist. I really enjoyed seeing them fight against him, and how we also find out that Dai does not have a perfected Avon Strash. So that was great. I really liked that. We also see how far you could kind of go as an Avon disciple, and that not all Avon disciples are of course good. We also see how useful an Avon disciple could be in the army of the evil lord, as well as how somebody could fall for monsters. And so that was also neat. We also see Avon as a young lad. He doesn't look like a silly guy, which is pretty funny. He looks like a legit person, a legit hero. So that was cool. Really did enjoy this book. I would definitely recommend this series to any people who like fantasy, manga, or anime. The anime is like really deep right now. I think there's like 80 episodes out or something like that. So if you want to start in kind of slow, I would get the manga, but definitely worth checking out for sure. The Breaker, Volume 3. Another pretty good series that does go on for a while. There are some color pages here. We get more of a little bit more training, but really more of the main kid here kind of kicking ass, which I thought was really cool. I was like, whoa, buddy. He's all bloody, he's all buddy, and he's like, bam, causing things to explode. He's really starting to shine and show his way as like the disciple of the Nine-Door Dragon, which I thought was neat because, it's pretty much just been him getting his ass saved the whole time. I'll never remember his name because it's Korean. I don't know a lot of Korean names super well, so I'm just going to point out to characters and things like that. But we also see that he like loses his shit, and he's a super good learner. So the Nine-Door Dragon shows him like how to make after images by moving his feet super fast, and the kid learns the trick just by seeing him do it, but he doesn't really learn it, like master it, but he practices it really hard. So he's not like a prodigy, but he's watching him do it the first time, then he practices it till it feels right to him, and it's like the way that he remembers his master showing it to him. And so it is really cool to see him just be able to kick ass for once and kind of show off his cool moves, see how he does it here. It's not perfect yet, but it is something, which is really neat. And his master is watching him through a different way, which is kind of cool because he said he was leaving and he's going to be on his own, so he needs to be stronger. And that's kind of what I believe is pushing him to get stronger. So happy to see him kind of grow into his own. Happy to see our like all-powerful Gojo Senpai leave the arena here, just like it happens in JJK. This is much older though, of course. So, but yeah, it's very cool to see these characters kind of start to grow on their own. Loving that. Prison School, Volume 12. Prison School, we get Climbing Andre. I love Andre so much. Look at Mount Andre. Oh my god. Andre is great. Get off of me. And then we learn all these things about Mari Sensei. We learn all these boob stuff. We get some dick stuff. We get Andre. He breaks down. Here you can see he's smoking. He looks like a big titan in the shadows. But what do we see here in this lovely, lovely to be continued? Well, wouldn't you love it? It's a... Dear God. Yeah, and that's Andre right here. That's a helicopter coming towards Andre. And I have to like look through this. There's so much ass, tits, and boobs throughout this whole thing. But you're gonna see some just straight up everything. So this is the plan here, okay? The plan is there's a lot of dicks and pussy too. Okay, I don't want to feel like people are getting left out here. And when I say ass, I mean man ass too. I just want to be clear. And we see that the vice principal, his plan all along was to actually drive in on the helicopter and jump out. However, there's this huge issue now, and that is with oh geez, what's her name? I can't look around too much, but the girl that is in the Three Romance Kingdom, her name is Chise? No, not Chise. Mayumi. No, not Mayumi. Is it? No. Oh, here we go. Mitsuko. Jeez Louise. So Mitsuko has like these hair buns that if you undo them, it makes a huge Ruth Goldberg incident. Okay? And it usually ends in like her like losing her underwear or something like that, or belly flopping her tits into somebody's face. But in this case, it's pretty funny because it will actually cause like the end of the world if you undo her hair. And so it does. It causes this like huge calamity with the plastic bottle rocket. The PBR, their god, starts to come undone. And yeah, and then the airplane or the helicopter rather starts to come through. Just wild. Loved it. And you can see how big Andre is. These are three girls, like they're not even over Andre's like hair. And that's, they're not even over his whole hair. But they're just on top of him riding him. Like that's how big Andre is these days. He's huge. Andre got bulked up for this shoulder race, this shoulder war. So I love it. And you can see this little explosion here from the fireworks. Loving it. Big explosion. That's what causes the helicopter come down. And they're worried it's going to crash into gigantic Andre, who cannot move because his brain is fried. Why is it fried? I don't really want to spoil it because we're getting towards the end of the series here. And it has been pretty gosh darn peak at this point. Check it out if you're not reading it. But that is everything that I read this past month so far. What did you read this past month so far? I hope it was more than me, but if it's better than any of these, let me know. I had read quite a few good things, but I would say my two favorite things was probably Prison School, Die, and Death Note this week. But Isekai E.10 were up there as well. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.